This video may contain spoilers for episode 14, season 8 of The Walking Dead. So most of this teaser is just Jadis playing dead while Savior comes around and spits on her, because he obviously has to act like a generic savior where they always hate everyone else that's not in their community. The interesting part of this teaser comes at the end of it. Most of this episode will not be a flashback. A lot of people think the entire thing is going to be a flashback. I think this scene will be one of the very first, solely basing that on the synopsis for this episode and the other two teasers that I've already reviewed. So I know this will be explained in the episode, but from watching this teaser, I'm wondering why Jadis is even being attacked. Simon clearly didn't want to hurt her. She was going to be spared, as we saw when the scene played out. Regardless of that, there is no actual reason to keep her alive. That decision by Simon was questionable from the very beginning. So I do hope that episode 14 actually touches on why she's running, why she's being hunted like the others. Jadis acting possum, though, is a perfect example of what we get in the very next scene, the last part of this teaser. Basically a revelation that the community itself has a secret to hide. In the very last shot, we have basically confirmation on what the Heap community's secret is. They're not actually crazy. The garbage on top is merely a ruse to cover up a more decent way of living. This is obviously Jadis' room in this shot. Nothing too amazing, but pretty incredible when you compare it to where they're living and basically most of The Walking Dead. Hilltop and Alexandria are never this slick, this well kept. This location here, there is light shining down, but it could still be underground. But more probably, it's a building that's been covered by garbage. Some people think it's a bunker. It may very well be a secluded structure, not a military base or a bunker of any kind. It could just be the interior to something like a train cart that they dressed up very nice. Obviously, in my last video, I think this was some kind of military base. That assumption is solely based on the fact that Simon pointed out that there was a helicopter pad there. AMC is always good with tying together knots at the end. But this also leads me to my next point. The fact that Jadis lives in a modern room like that, and a helicopter pad is in the back of the trash heap, or just somewhere in the trash heap, clearly she or some of her subordinates were the ones piloting the helicopter that Rick saw earlier in this season. That's something Rick hasn't mentioned to anyone at all yet. I find it very strange no one called attention to it or actually brought up that plot point in any manner. I guess we were meant to think Rick was just losing his mind again like he was when he first arrived at Alexandria. So I'm pleased it's all coming together in a very interesting way. But back to the last scene, we also see her check her watch. This character, Jadis, is the complete opposite of who she was earlier or in every other episode until this one. I cannot remember the last time anyone in The Walking Dead has ever had that level of civility to want to actually know the time of day and base it on pre-apocalyptic means like wristwatches. I don't think anyone's even owned a watch in The Walking Dead. So I think what we're going to see is some hints that the Heaps community had a higher level of living, like cleanliness, than Alexandria and the Hilltop. They weren't farmers, they were... after Jadis lost her entire community, she no longer has a reason to keep up the ruse of them being lunatics living in a garbage heap. The entire purpose of doing that was to survive. Just like in the comics, the Whisperers, they cover themselves in walker parts. They do that as camouflage, obviously, to not want to be seen by people, and they can actually walk by walkers sometimes. Other communities can be dangerous. I'm also questioning if there's any significance to the blue paint. In earlier episodes, like 2 sequential episodes, they showed the blue paint. They put emphasis on blue paint. There was a camera pointing at it while Rick was stepping inside it. So I wonder if that's also a plot point that's actually going to matter in episode 14. There's not a lot of episodes left in the season after all. I really can't wait for the scenes with Jadis and Negan though. Negan's obviously going to be the one to find out all these secrets, and I guess maybe he will tell Rick and the others, or Jadis will actually die in this episode. I'm not exactly sure. After all, these secrets in the long run don't actually matter. It's not going to have Jadis get her community back, and I don't think anyone's going to move into this new community. I think it's just going to be abandoned for the time being. But when Jadis is actually talking to Negan, I wonder if she's going to have her very strange way of speaking. Will she actually talk normal like everyone else? Maybe Negan will actually be taken into one of these interiors that we see in this shot, and that's how he's going to find out the secret. But more likely, he's going to find out by the way Jadis is acting. Maybe she will outright tell him what's going on, like this was a bunker of some kind. One thing's for sure though, all of the secrets the Heaps community would have it's definitely going to be revealed in next Sunday's episode. That's going to be the main thing to look forward to, and it should be pretty interesting. As usual though, if you like this video, remember to subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one.